Hey there, Mr. Clark. Nice to meet you.
Mr. Clark, okay? Kind of fancy, but, if I'm going to be working with him, I think I'd rather that he just call me Charlie. Let's just say that.
Nice to meet you too, James, but please, just call me Charlie.
In many workplaces in English-speaking countries, it's common to hear workers addressing each other by their first name rather than Mr., Mrs., Sir, or Madam. But sometimes it is polite to start a conversation by using one of the more formal ways of addressing. How can we identify these situations, and what are the names that we should call our coworkers when we're at work? That's what we're going to take a look at in today's video. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Charlie, and I am an English communications coach for Spanish-speaking professionals. If you're interested in improving your professional communication in English, hit that subscribe button and follow for more videos. That being said, let's get started with today's presentation.
So when it comes to addressing your coworkers in English, you want to think of it on a scale of formal or informal, okay? So I've created this scale right here with a couple of example names, Jane Smith and John Doe, okay? So very formal, we have sir for men and madam or ma'am for women. Now this is very, very formal. Then next up is either Dr. Smith, right? This is for doctors or people with a PhD, with a doctorate degree, or Professor Doe, which is for people at universities, specifically professors, of course. Those are also very formal ways to address people. Then we have Mr. Doe, which is for men, Mrs. Smith, which is for married women, and then Miss Smith, which is for unmarried women, okay? Now, if you don't know if the woman is married or not, you would say Miss Smith, okay? Miss Smith with the MS right here, okay? MRS is Mrs., okay? And then informal, you can just call them by their first name, Jane or John, okay? So that's kind of the scale of informal to formal. And now, what happens when it comes time to call someone by their name? How do we know which one to use?
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you're interested in getting the presentation, some exercises, and extra vocabulary related to this topic, I would suggest for you my Members Club. For just $13 a month, you can get lessons every single week about different communication topics. You also will have access to all of the previous lessons that we've done and 2 live workshops each month with me and my other members. If you want to upgrade and get your speaking practice in as well, you can sign up for my Convo Club, which includes the Members Club plus 1 hour a week of conversation practice. This is for just $25 a month, and you can start with your free trial today. All the information is going to be in the description of this video, so let's get back to addressing people.
The best way to know is by introducing yourself, telling them how you like to be called. So let's say I meet someone new and I say, my name is Charlie, nice to meet you. They will probably respond, nice to meet you too, my name is, and then say how they want to be addressed. Nice to meet you too, my name is John. In this case, you would call this person John. Or if they say, nice to meet you too, my name is Mr. Doe, then you would call the person Mr. Doe. Or my name is Dr. Doe, then you would call them Dr. Doe, okay? So basically, that's what you want to use as a guideline, but we don't always know how the person wants to be called, and maybe we've already met them, right? Maybe it's not this ideal situation where you can just say your name. In that case, you can ask them, what should I call you, or how should I call you? You can also say, what are you usually called, or what do people usually call you? Is it okay if I call you, and then you can use their name? Is it okay if I call you John? Or is it okay if I call you, and then maybe a nickname? Or just asking, what's your name, if you haven't met them yet? What's your name? All right, and then in a situation where you're not really meeting someone, it could be a little bit different, right? Let's say you're at a store, or you're on a plane, or you're talking with a teacher, you're talking with someone that is not necessarily within your social circle or at your work. You're going to have to assume. So you can use sir, madam, or ma'am when you're talking to somebody at a store, a flight attendant, maybe unknown employee, a stranger that's at a store. This applies as well to maybe your Uber driver, taxi driver, or people that are doing a service, right? Waiter or waitress, same type of thing. Okay. So then, once you know their name, then you can call them by their name, or you can address them by how they address themselves to you. Okay. Doctor and professor, same type of thing. If you're meeting a doctor, doctor and last name, or professor, professor and last name. Now, Mr., Mrs., and Miss, this would be people in a work situation or school situation, usually, or maybe somebody who's older than you. Okay, so you have a new manager, hello Mr., or hello Mrs., hello Miss, and their last name. Okay, or supervisor, or maybe you are in conferences with your kid's teacher, or a teacher of your own. You can use Mr., Mrs., or Miss. This is very common, maybe in everyday life where you don't know the person super well and you're giving them some respect. Okay, but you do know their last name. That's why you're able to use Mr., Mrs., or Miss, and then the person's last name. And then in social situations, usually just the first name, Jane or John. And that's about it for addressing your coworkers, how we should call someone specifically in English.
Thanks again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment if you'd like, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.